Good morning, Happy New Year. Today's video is going to be about N, and it's about new information. So what happens when people join the QDB service, they're confronted with a lot of information, and because it's new information, it can be a little bit daunting. So what I recommend is that you keep calm and you learn to swim. So what I would do, in my personal opinion, is just to take each tab as you see it, and then when you've had enough, you can come back tomorrow. You might get so far as to get to the average bubbles, and you think, okay, that's enough information for now. I'll come back tomorrow. And it's just really a case of not feeling like you're swamped with information. It's all put into compartments, and each tab's got its own video. So it's important that if you look at something on this particular screen, you're like, oh, that's a bit confusing. I don't really know what that means. There should be the answers in that video in the top left. So perhaps on the dashboard, you might have a query about what the SSI means. And the SSI is the Speculative Sentiment Index. So that'll tell you all about what SSI means and how we can use it. And we're using the logic of analyzing where the retail guys are and what they're doing over time. Time is really, really important. And see the time on the bubbles as well. And this is the difference from the open. So the yen was over here, and they decided to short the yen. And by selling it, it's making it stronger. All right. And you would have seen that post in Telegram about me saying about the yen. And the reason why it is performing well is because of that logic. The dumb money has shorted it. They're already short, but they added short. Okay. So there's the time component. So that's important that you understand the bubbles. CAD yen, for example, have a look at that performance on the CAD yen. Also look at Kiwi yen, look at Swiss yen as well. So really, just doesn't need to be an overly long video. It's just really just to say, take your time and digest information. Likewise, there's a video there. You know, you can click that video. If you can like the videos, that'd be cool. I'd appreciate that. And then subscribe as well. And so the thing is with the Euro USD is that we are by the big picture, but over time they're going long. Now they were 10% long, now we're 8%. So you see lots of flux. We have to remember the big picture. Ideally, we had the time component that confirms the big picture, and that's important. So currently, the Euro USD would be mixed because of the red cell on the shifting over time and the big picture. That's it really. It doesn't need to be too complex. There's the signals. We didn't have any signals last week because of Christmas, and yeah, likewise this one is a little bit more complicated than your typical tab. There's two videos to explain this data, and essentially what it does, it measures their success or failure in their bias. And now normally the retail guys are wrong, so when they buy or sell they get punished, and this will tell us whether or not they're getting paid or they're getting punished. Currently, this isn't so good. We'd want that about 80%. So that isn't so great. Below 50%, I would totally take a step back and then probably just sit in my hands. You don't want it below 50% because it tells us that the dumb money are getting paid. And if we're using the sentiment for bias, then it's obviously going to be quite weak. If the retail guys are getting paid, you know, it's going to obviously skew our analysis. There we see a little shift. There's the yen pumping, and they shorted the yen. They shorted it by 6% across all its peers, and the performance is strong. So that would make sense. That would be what we should expect. You know, we should see them getting punished. They shorted, price has gone up. Therefore, good score. Pound, however, they're getting paid. They shorted, and they're getting paid. You see that logic? They shorted by 0.5%. And the technicals were negative. So they are currently getting paid on pound. So you'd want to be careful with the pound and look for reversals. Because they shorted it, it should be coming up. Okay, that's the logic. The sentiment is stronger than the technical because that drives, this is the fear and greed. And then the technical is a result from that, from those emotions and their positioning. And knowing the retail guys, they'll hold on to their bias as well. So if they're going to be short pound and they hold short, that's going to be a stronger buy over time. Okay, so there's lots to talk about on each one of these tabs. So do join and then take your time, just go through the videos, and then they should really help as well. This is a good one, to how to detect reversals, and I just talked about it very briefly on the pound. Okay, and obviously you'd need the technicals to agree. You know, you'd want to be checking your technical charts. Now the average bubbles, if you don't know the bubbles, then they're quite, well, in fact they're quite amazing, because they give us constant real-time signals. So we can see the yen is strong and the CAD would be weak, but what we want to do is try and pitch strong versus weak. So this is the strong sell section, this is the strong buy section. Euro is over here. Now if you've got a long euro bias, you'd want this to come down here a little bit more. We're quite close to where we started at the start of the week. So all the bubbles are aligned at 10 o'clock each night, and then they move. And that tells us the herd positioning over time, which is pretty cool. So we'd want to probably avoid Kiwi and Swiss, and we'd probably want to avoid dollar and pound. And there's going to be a big battle between the pound and USD currently. So you'd probably want to avoid that particular currency pair because there isn't a strong bias. However, there is a strong bias on CAD yen. Now you could probably argue, have we moved a lot? Yes, we have. So it might be too late now. You might want to look later for a retracement, and then you can get a good entry. And that's about it from a spreadsheet view. There's still lots more tabs to talk about, but you don't want to obviously get too bogged down. And we had just started the month, so obviously the monthly bubbles are going to be interesting. And they've gone quite long on gold, which is really interesting. So that we should see gold fall if they're going to get punished or paid. Normally they get punished. So that is interesting. So if you've got a very long-term view of looking at the markets, if you're swing trading, the monthly bubbles are going to be your go-to bubbles. For me, I quite like the average ones because it averages the week and the day. And I find that quite useful because I'm more of a sort of an intraday trader. I'm not really swing trading so much, but if you were, you can use the monthly bubbles. Marco's sheet is really good. He analyzes the relative strength of your currency pairs, and he gives them a score, which is really awesome. And so we can see he's been doing it for a while, and we can see, you know, we got data and strength. So this is Swiss strength there, and we got pound weakness, technically speaking, and that's that. So that's the spreadsheet and how to just don't feel yourself getting overwhelmed with information. You can just simply take your time. You subscribe for a month, so you've got a month's worth of time to digest the information, and there's lots and lots of things that you can use for signals and analysis as well. And this is a key feature. This is what we will be using a lot this month, because last January the herd got paid a lot and it really skewed our trades because we were using sentiment a lot. We still are, but now we've got a metric to measure their success or failure. We go below 50%, you would probably not want to be trading using the sentiment analysis because it means that they're getting paid. If that's nice and high, that's great, that's perfect, that's exactly what we want. We see a lot of mismatch, a huge amount of mismatch. See the green, red, green, red, red, green, red, green, red, green, green, red, green, red. So a lot of things are out of bonk. So you could sit on your hands and come back and look for reversals potentially. Pound should reverse a lot, and Swiss should, well, potentially sell because they've gone long. Okay, and lots of trade ideas, and that's the spreadsheet. So don't feel yourself getting overwhelmed with information. Take your time. There are videos, like I say, on each tab, so click those at your leisure. Do have a look at the starter pack and the recommended software. That will really help as well, especially the FXCM trading station. So new information, and the key secret is that you don't feel overwhelmed. You just take your time because there's a lot to digest, and you don't want to get full of information, and you feel and you might sort of like scare you and you don't come back, and that's definitely what I don't want. I want you guys to slowly digest this information, and then you can always ask me if you've got questions. I found in my experience, if you ask questions, you'll learn a lot more, and because I'm there to help you. And if you don't ask questions, then you might be at a bit of a loss. So don't feel like you can't ask me questions. You must feel that you can. My door is always open. And if there is anything that is confusing, just let me know. And DP is daily pivot, for example. You know, you might wonder what DP distance is. It's where price is currently to the daily pivot. And hopefully things are, you know, straightforward enough, especially if there's a video there. But if you watch the video and you're still confused, then definitely let me know. So today's video is new information, and the secret is just to keep calm, really, and then you can learn to swim. If you're not calm, then you know you're going to probably struggle with the information. And that's the spreadsheet anyway. That's 3 years in the making now, and that's that. So there's lots more data down here. You might not necessarily need all this information, but this is quite a good one. The sentiment heat map. You can see how see confirmations over time. So they are going long on the Euro USD. However, an hour ago we were here, so we have to wait to see if they're going to change their mind. They might do. If they start changing their mind, it's going to be more of a buy. If those red cells go like this, then Euro USD is going to be a buy. It already is a buy at the big picture, but if the sentiment shifts over time and we go this way, and this could be more of a buy over time. So hopefully it helps. Have a great day, and tomorrow's video is going to be about O, so it'll probably be on the order book, which I think should be a good video because there's lots of questions about that. Have a great one. Happy New Year again, and I'll speak to you guys soon.